Patreon request.
What's good, J2R family? We're back again with another reaction video for you guys. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Johnny.
And today we have Louis Tomlinson, All of Those Voices, Part 2. But before it's even not part of J2R family, or it's first time on our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Patreon.
So if you guys haven't checked out Part 1, head over to our Patreon account. If you're not on Patreon right now, you can go check out Part 1, the unblurred version. You know what I'm saying? But this right here is Part 2. We're about to get back into this. So this is All of Those Voices with Louis Tomlinson. What do you think about this, Johnny?
So far, it's kind of like a sad story. It's like he was like, it's almost like he was like left behind.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't ever expecting this to happen. So I hope that as we go along, get kind of like, obviously I think it's going to turn around for him. But like right now, he's like sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just crazy how like it was almost like it kind of just came out of nowhere on him. He thought everything was all good and everything, and then it just happened out of nowhere and just took a crazy turn. He even said that he never thought like about like being solo, that they would never be like together. So it's just crazy to like think about, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna hop back to the video, see what happens.
Let's do it.
If you get any kind of stumbling block like that, we do all bond together, and I think, you know, that's the sign of good mates.
Ladies and gentlemen, One Direction! Oh my God, that was such an emotional performance.
It's like someone going to you, you have the best job in the world, go and enjoy your last day of work, because tomorrow you're not working it. And it's like, you know, as much as you want to enjoy it, in reality, you just can't help but think about everything and think about, you know, all the good times that you've had and the fact that is coming to an end.
Amazing. Well, listen, we'll have a beer after the show, guys. Let's hear it one more time for the amazing.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no guarantee and there's no security. Nobody knows what's going to happen after this. Anything could come next. Absolutely anything. It's like starting again, to be honest. For me. Kind of just take it as it comes, I suppose.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I didn't
if I
know
was
what
part
the
of One
next
Direction
2
and I
years
seen
looked
this
like,
documentary.
never mind the
Yeah.
next 10 years. Wasn't
I
like
feel like
I was
it's big.
thinking about calling it a day or anything like that. I didn't see a way back. Not even musically, just to do anything. I eventually took more meetings with managers and I started to feel a bit, well, maybe I do have some individual worth. And it was them who said to me, you know, what about making some music on your own? And I was like, well, I'll have to think about it. I remember calling my mum. And like, it almost felt to me like she'd waited for me to go through this process and have this call with her. Because like, by the time I told her, she was like, well, that's obviously what you're gonna do. That's what you should do. That's what you deserve to do. You love music. That's what you should do.
No, it sucks.
For Joanna to
Man,
pass
I know
so
that was
suddenly, maybe 5 or 6 months after we heard the news, I can't even imagine. I still admire him for all of it.
I know when she was very, very ill, she would text him and text him and text him, and he you know, I've seen some of her texts to him, and he said, "Mum, I'll be with you shortly. Don't worry, I'm on my way now."
She would not have allowed us to kind of sit and let stuff take over our life or let anything ruin our life. So she brought us up to be strong, and she brought us up to look after each other and just to get on with things.
In the pipeline was this X Factor show that he had lined up. I think maybe Joanna died midweek and it was the next Friday or something.
What are you doing? A chapter end. Do you close the book and never...
I remember watching him perform, thinking, "How are you doing this?" But I know he wanted to do it, and that's why I was so pleased when he had done it, because there was no chance he wasn't doing that performance.
Got Steve Aoki up there.
I wanted to do it for my mum, and the bottom line is, I didn't want my mum feeling like what happened to her was going to jeopardise my career, because I just got this feeling from her and the things that she was saying that I was just to keep doing what I'm doing and try and, you know, keep strong and whatever. So really I got up on that day for her more than I did me.
That's tough, man.
But still looking back on that performance, I don't think I'll ever have a moment that's more challenging in my career.
Simon, I know you wanted to say a couple of words.
You know what, I have to say something to you. I've known you now for 6 years. What you've just done and the bravery, I respect you as an artist, I respect you as a person, and you know, your mum was so proud of you, Louis, and she was so looking forward to tonight. She's washing down on you now, and you've done her proud. Thank you so much.
It felt like from that moment, for years, I couldn't win. Life was just against me, and it didn't want me to succeed, and it wanted me to, you know, I kept having all of these difficult things to deal with. So, you know, finding out about my mum was obviously emotionally draining, and then going through the process of being with her and she looked relatively normal, and then as she starts looking more ill, like that's obviously more things to process, and then when she passes, you've got to process that, and then when you're at the funeral, you've got to process that. And then it's not too long after that when Felicity passed.
We did a lot, me and Louis worked together to try and help Fizz, and obviously it didn't work, so I felt that kind of, how could we not get her out of this? So I can only imagine how he felt. I'm sure it was heightened, one, because he's a brother, and two, because he probably felt the responsibility from my mum.
That hit him hard. That hit him hard, because it's the trauma, you're dealing with one trauma already, then you got a new trauma to deal with. And then it's just like, my life's shit, isn't it? That's how you start thinking. You're losing people around you that you can never replace them.
Life always throws shit at you. Yes, I've had maybe more to deal with than most people my age. But then when the natural things happen in life, where things weren't going my way, I couldn't deal with it, because it was like, but I've already had so much to deal with. So when am I going to start winning?
I think that I was always in the back for him. You know, the feeling of the loss from the band, and then he's had more loss on top of it. So I think it was a tough few years for him.
He was nowhere near the person or the artist he is now then. I think he was just treading water, just trying to find a lane or an avenue to go down.
He knew what he wanted to do. He just felt that no one was listening to him. I think that was the biggest problem. And I think what he was struggling with was working out the pathway to do what he wants to do. He wanted to go on tour. He loved touring. It was his favourite part of being in One Direction. And I think he was trying to work out how he gets back to that point with the music that he enjoys. And I think he was struggling to find out how he does that.
Coming out of a band like One Direction and for the type of band that it was, you know, it's very easy to listen to other opinions and think, well, maybe I can't make the music I want to make because, you know, it's going to be hard to be seen as truly credible or truly musical. Where I left One Direction was I'd come off stage feeling like a god. Now I'm doing my own performances and it feels like the opposite. Bad. It was bad. It feels like two different versions of myself. A good one that I think represents me and is respectful, and then the other one that is just bullshit. Oh, fucking hell. You know what I mean? I feel a little bit like before now. Like I'm a footballer and I've had a bad injury for like a year, you know what I mean? So I've not quite got up to me. It was very easy for me to imagine Harry having a solo career, Liam having a solo career. It was harder for me to imagine like myself doing that. It was like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? Then I'd see like on social media, like everyone like all the support and saying like, you just do what you wanna do, we're gonna be here for you, blah, blah, blah. Then that's when I started at least embracing my gut feeling and what it is that I wanted to do. And I'd say the first breakthrough moment of that was when we wrote Kill My Mind and Walls. The momentum that I built up from those 2 songs and the confidence that I built up being like, well, this is a far cry from the first 2 singles, but it feels really comfortable and it feels in line with what I want to do. And all of a sudden I could have a vision for, okay, if the first album sounds like this, maybe the second album I could go a little bit further and the third album a bit further. And before you know it, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. But it was a process that I got to just from having the confidence of knowing that I've got the fan support. And obviously there's always in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I hope they're still going to be around if I make the music I want to make.
We're always fighting the fact that people underestimate him. But I think that gives us more fight, to be honest. We've got a point to prove. He's got a point to prove, and I have as well in this. I think we want him to succeed and be, you know, and be at the level he should be.
That's crazy right there with the chair on the wall.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he sounds really good too. I can see why this would be like a breakthrough song right here.
When I found out you were doing it.
We gonna pause it here. But that song sounded really good.
It did. It sounded really good.
We're gonna have to like react to that or something. We definitely gonna have to do that. Unless like it shows like maybe more of it on here. I doubt it will, but we'll see what happens. But it's crazy to see like all the stuff he went through. I think one of them. I think the girl was his sister.
His sister, yeah. She said it was her. He was the brother.
Yeah. So and then he lost his mom too. And then after losing the band, I mean that's a lot of stuff to deal with within like a couple of years.
Right. Like. He lost the band. Then he lost his mom. Then he lost his sister.
Yeah. It's like I definitely see what he's saying. Like he's like pretty much, when am I gonna win? He's like, I just feel like it's been lost. You know what I mean? When am I gonna win finally? But I mean, what he produced right there, that song, that sounded really amazing. Really, really did. But it's crazy like to see how much stuff he went through. I never knew that he went through all that.
I know.
What I mean, I feel like you wouldn't really know that. But and just to see how strong he was, even like to sit there and go on X Factor and perform the song he did
a week later.
Yeah, I mean that's just insane. Like who does that? Like you have to have like such a strong mindset. But I mean, he's an amazing artist. He really is. I feel like I love what he stands for. I really, really do. I mean, he works hard and everything, and he just doesn't give up. Even though he had all those losses, he just kept pushing through it and just kept moving forward, which was just amazing. It really was. I mean, that's just got to be so difficult. A lot of people would just quit and gave up and be like, "This isn't for me." You know what I mean? But he just kept pushing. But this is a really cool documentary so far. I'm really enjoying it a lot. He just seems like such an amazing person. He really does. What do you think, John?
Yeah, you know, it sucks that he had all that loss, but he's used it as motivation.
Sure.
And I think that's what propelled him to where he is now, or at least at this point. And maybe that's what he needed. It's bad to say that, I kind of think, you know, because it sucks to have that loss, but that's what helped him, I think, maybe mold him a little bit differently and put him where he is now. But yeah, that song he was singing there, that in that video it was showing, was amazing. Sounds fantastic. So I hope we definitely get more of him like that throughout this documentary. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to check out that video.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, make sure you hit the like button if you're not part of J2R family. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Patreon.